I just want to confirm that Huey Lewis and the News were consulted. They were? All right. Then it is, in fact, hip to be square. That's a joke for anybody over the age of 30. Welcome back to the Scale Builders Guild. Thanks again for watching. Today it's a first look, run, and review, well, sort of the new Axial SCX10III Basecamp Chevrolet Silverado K10. And here it is right here, a Squarebody Stepside. Now, you may recognize this body from the special edition Pro-Line Axial collab that Horizon offered to special guests or special members of a very elite club. Now, this is the same body in a different color and without any of the Pro-Line decals. But what you're looking at is essentially a ready-to-run SCX10III Basecamp with a very cool square body Chevy. And I think this body looks really good. Pro-Line did a very nice job for a square body. I'm not the biggest Chevy fan. I'm not a huge Chevy fanatic, so I can't give any specifics on where this body came from, how long it's been out, what model year this is. I can't even really give you anything else other than the truck, because there's no box behind me. I didn't get a box. This came in a Basecamp box because this was a factory sample. This is one of the first trucks to ever make it out of the factory, so I feel quite honored that Axial was able to bestow this upon me, and for that I do thank them. Thank you, Axial, for providing this for me for this run and review. Because it is a Basecamp, there's not much new I can talk about, but I'll walk you through it in case you have no idea what a Basecamp is. The Axial SCX10III Basecamp is essentially a ready-to-run model that has some significant changes in how it's laid out over a kit or ready-to-run SCX10III. Full stop. The biggest difference between those two models is the transmission and where it's placed. I will get into those things in a minute, but let's keep talking about this nice looking body. It's painted in this very nice metallic blue. There is also a black option. This one I think kind of pops. I think I like the blue a little bit more than the black. It does have some very nice plastic molded details, which we're going to go over here. The grille, of course, is plastic and molded and attached to a Lexan body. You get this nice one-piece chromed bumper as well. This is a plastic bumper with both headlights and fog lamps, which I think is a nice addition. Included as well, molded plastic mirrors, and lucky for all of us, these tilt in case of brushing up against an obstacle, which is something that happens quite frequently around here. Moving around to the back of the truck, you do notice that this is a step-side model of a Silverado, which I very much appreciate. I think this is a very cool look. Not much of a drop bed here. We're getting pretty much about a quarter of an inch overall, and that's, of course, to accommodate for the shock towers. But we do have some nice molded taillight options there. There is no LED or option for an LED on those, so you're just getting a sticker on that. And, of course, a chromed bumper as well with an SCX10 license plate. That's pretty cute. We've got decals for door handles and locks, and we've got some badging here as well, also a decal. For a square body bow tie, it does look pretty good. Do like those folding mirrors. Those are pretty good. And they look much more appropriate than the ones that RC 4-wheel drive has offered in the past. These look to be actually where are mine? Where are my mirrors? I know they're in here somewhere. So this is a 9th scale truck, and those 10ths, these ones are actually, that's pretty close. It's pretty good. It's good to see. Okay, so in addition to those bodies, you do get the headlights and fog lights. No tail lights, but it's nice to see some LEDs included for sure. A strike against this body, it is using body clips. There's no clip system. There's no hidden body mounts. It's just straight up RTR style body clips. And while I understand there's always a place for them, it does ruin the overall look as far as I'm concerned. It would be nice to see an update to that. I know it exists on the JLU. It would be great to see here too. But if I recall correctly, the other RTR Basecamp does come with body clips as well. Strike removed for clear windows. So you can very easily put an interior in there. Probably not full depth because of the way the chassis is laid out, but at least there's an option for that. And I always prefer to see clear windows. You gots to have them. All right, 4.19 inch tall Falcon Wild Peak MTs. Nice tire. I like this tire a lot. I think Axial's done a very nice job on this shorter sized one. The width is nice and does appear to be quite scale for the size of this truck, actually, which is, you know, not something you usually see from Axial. They're usually a lot larger. This is actually kind of refreshing and nice. It looks good. Raceline plastic wheels. These are glue-on, not a plastic beadlock, but that's fine. At this price point and for an RTR, that's a pretty decent combo. I actually think it looks really good on this truck. Ultimately, I also would like to see inner fenders. I think it's kind of important to see inner fenders at all levels of price points now. And I also would have liked to have seen a set of sliders. It's really interesting to me that no sliders were included with this truck. I think it would just kind of completed the look. It looks a little unfinished along that bottom edge. Otherwise, there's some nice little tiny details that most people won't notice. The window decals actually have the little door lock thingy, which I think is kind of cute. Okay, let's take the body off and get a quick look at this chassis. Okay, body removed and chassis exposed. And this is what you'll get here. 35-turn brushed motor, Spectrum branded. Actually, I think it's still Dynamite. Yeah, it's still a Dynamite branded 35-turn non-rebuildable brushed motor. Connected to a Spectrum ESC. This is the... This is just a waterproof brushed ESC. I do believe this is a Hobbywing rebrand. 2 to 3S LiPo. It's got a lot of resistance magnets, and there are also some LED outputs coming out of not the... They don't come out of the ESC, they come out of the receiver, I guess. So probably just an extender cable so you can have the fog lamps and the headlights plugged in and not have to remove anything from the chassis. You just pop that plug and off you go. It is actually kind of nice to see a waterproof receiver box. This is something that all JLUs and SCX10IIIs before this have the option for, not necessarily always installed, so cool to see that. This is a portal-based truck, so unlike the Basecamp Builder's Kit, this Basecamp RTR features portal axles. I do think that it would be cool to see this with a straight axle, if I'm honest. But I understand portals sell and people want them. 90 mil aluminum bodied shocks are included in the RTR. Nice to see that at an RTR price point. But other than that, it's a fairly bare bones chassis. You're getting about, let me see, is it got the metal? Yeah, it does. It has the metal panhard mount. So they've updated that on this model, and it's so hard to see because that bumper is gigantic. There it is. Metal panhard mount, which is great to see, and also a metal servo horn. With that, we've got an S614 Metal Gear. I don't know if that's a Metal Gear servo or not. I think it might be. Metal links, these are the more RTR style links, so they aren't tapered in any way, and they don't have those adjustment holes that you really don't need. But these will certainly do the job. This might be an update. I don't remember seeing this, but the bumper mount actually has SCX10III printed on it, or emblazoned upon it, so I think that might be an upgraded piece. Wild bore WB8 drive shafts, nothing new there, but they're really good. I've never had one of those fail on me. And the main difference, of course, being the more traditional 3-gear standard style transmission mounted in the center of the chassis. This design, in terms of where the motor and transmission is placed, has been around forever. It goes back to the original SCX10. But of course, there are some updates on this chassis. This is the Adjustable wheelbase chassis. There are 3 different positions for servos. Actually 4 if we're counting here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you can put a servo winch in any location there, as well as your steering servo. They do include both battery trays. So there's one on the driver's side here, and there's one across the rear of the chassis rail. This is probably the better location, if I'm honest. If you're going to run a shorter pack, that's where I would put it. Longer packs, definitely here. And there you go. That's basically a first look at this chassis. This K10 comes with the very basic SLT3 3-channel radio. I don't mind this one though. It's pretty easy to drive one-handed, and it does have a nice premium feeling wheel. All your adjustments are very analog, and there's not many of them, but you do have the option of changing your throttle input from 50 to 100% to give newbies an opportunity to not smash this into trees. This won't be a traditional review. I'm not going to do live commentary for this one because, quite honestly, it's a Basecamp, and I've done a number of reviews on those already. And in fact, I invite you to go watch the original one, which I'm quite proud of. It's right up here. You can go check that out. Josh and I have also done a number of challenges with the Basecamp. Those are excellent watching as well. Lots of cool tips for customizing and making this truck your own. I really like the Basecamp, and I think that's evidenced by the number of videos that I've done on this platform before. It really does do quite well, and I like its more simplistic nature. I always come back to that, don't I? If you're interested in picking one of these up, I will put a link down below where you can get one for yourself or a friend, maybe. Is this truck for you? Will you be picking up one of these new K10s? Put a comment down below. You know I love reading through your feedback, and I try to answer as many of them as I can. And if you're enjoying this video and you want to see me do more with the Basecamp platform, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you get updates anytime there's a new video from the Scale Builders Guild. All right, let's get to the running footage. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.